Welcome to the Sharpe Way. Yes, Larry Sharpe here again on an awesome Monday evening. And if it's Monday, what does that mean? It is Ask Me Anything Monday. Mama, is that a good acronym? It's Mama today. Ask Me Anything Monday. So please feel free to put your questions and your comments in the comment section, and I will try my best to answer all the questions I can. As always, guys, I know I bug you every time, but it matters. If we're going to grow our own media, we have to do our part. That means you got to like. That means you got to comment. That means you got to share. You, the person right now looking at me, like, comment, share. You got to do it. If you do it, we'll begin to grow our media. Those Facebook, YouTube, Twitter algorithms will start doing their magic, and we will start sharing, and more people will see our media. We will grow, and when people come on this show, like you see them do, they will get more exposure. We'll all get more exposure. Please like, comment, and share. If you haven't already liked my Facebook page, head over there now, the Sharpe Way Facebook page. Please do so. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube page, the Sharpe Way YouTube page, go there right now and do that. And if you haven't followed me on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter right now. Don't think, go do. And if you've got some cash right now, you're in a good financial spot, heading over to patreon.com/SharpeWay. Drop me $5, $10, $20. If you're filthy, rich, wealthy, drop me $1,000 because you have all the money you need. That'd be awesome. If you don't have that money, no worries. No worries at all. This does not require money. I'd love you to give me money. I need it to keep us going, but we can grow without it. We can grow if you just like, comment, and share. So I want to chat today about many things, but I think the number one thing I want to bring up is the blame game. The blame game is a big game I don't want people to play. I hear it all the time. Let's stop blaming. How about instead we start assigning responsibility and we start trying to fix where we are? I hear it everywhere. This is wrong because this guy is bad. She's bad. He's bad. China's bad. Russia's bad. Let's start looking at ourselves now and try to fix what we can fix with assigning responsibility to those people who are responsible and us right now. Now, I have a lot of questions. You guys do a lot of comments, and let me go right to them if I could. But I do want that part to be clear. Let's not blame. Let's instead start assigning responsibility. I think we should. Yes. All right. So if Justin Amash wins the LP nomination, would you consider being his VP candidate? I would consider him or anyone who I believe would have a chance of making impact and a chance of being selected by the Congress to be president. That is my number one issue and what I would consider, right? In my view, this is my opinion, and many of you will disagree, but I will give you my view anyway. I hope you're watching because you want to know what Larry Sharpe's thinking, and I will tell you. I believe this year is a year that we actually have a chance because of the COVID crisis. We don't know what's going to be happening. Who knows what could be happening? Will the press blame Trump and will it stick? Will the press blame China? Will that stick? Will the press blame nobody? I was talking about blame 10 minutes ago. Blame is a big deal. Who's going to believe what? This is in the balance. Who knows what's going to happen? This is a chance where our nominee may actually win a couple of states. That could happen this year. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm not promising it. But I'm saying if there's going to be a time for us to make that happen, it's this crazy year. If that happens, if we actually win a couple of states to where neither of the other two guys can get their 270, it goes to the Congress. I want to have a nominee that I believe the Congress will actually say, yes, let's bring that guy in. I want to make sure they would actually say, yes, let's put him in. I think some of our candidates, they would never vote for. They would literally say, you know what? We'll take Trump or Biden. We'll make a deal for a different VP, whatever. They literally would not vote for our guys, some of them. One of the main reasons why I support Judge Gray so much is I believe without hesitation, they would say, yep, Judge Gray, fine. Yes, he's the president. I believe they do that. Amash probably but I know people think I'm crazy. I actually think Judge Gray has a better chance of being selected than Amash. And people will think I'm wrong when I say that, but I believe that. I think Judge Gray has the best chance that if lightning strikes and we win a couple of states, because some states are so angry at Trump or so angry at Biden or whatever, that they actually pick us and we win a couple of states through plurality, if we actually do that, I know they'll pick Gray. Yep, done. Amash, I think so, but I think they'll pick Amash too. Don't get me wrong, I think they will, but I'm sure they will pick Gray. I'm not sure they'll pick Amash because he has a past that Gray doesn't have. That is my view on that. Obviously, maybe disagree with me on that. That's my view. I think we have to have someone who I think they would pick and someone who could actually win this thing, and that's my issue. Many of our candidates that are running for president, they're never going to pick. If any of those win, what am I doing here? I'm here to support a presidential candidate that can make real impact. And in my view, and again, some of you disagree, my view is one of three things. My number one thing is we actually get the presidency. That's my number one. My number two is we win a state or two. We actually have gold states. Why do I care so much? A lot of you have been upset about this and go, Larry, but the judge or Amash or whoever, they're not good enough libertarians. And for many of you, that's accurate. I get it. There are many policies of both of them I don't agree with. But here, in my view, again, this is my opinion. You guys don't have to agree, but you're asking why I'm doing what I'm doing. Can you imagine if one of two things happens? One, we actually get the presidency, with true libertarian or not. Think about how much that will assist every single down ticket candidate for the next 10 years. Next 4 for sure, maybe the next 8 or 12 years. Oh my God, if that happens, the amount that it will help the down ticket, immeasurable. But let's say we don't get that. We don't get the prize. The consolation prize of winning a state or two, that consolation prize, at every single time the CNN, Fox, and MSNBC put up the Electoral College map, there'll be a gold state somewhere on that map. And everyone will have to go, oh, what's that gold state? Oh, that's right. That's libertarians. Oh, they exist. Yeah, they do. And they're players. And they win elections. And they get electoral votes. And when that happens, again, it helps every single down ticket candidate for the next 4 years. And that has always been my number one goal, is to have impact. But if we get someone that I do not think will win a state, or doesn't even care about winning a state, or only cares about being pure or whatever, or percentage, which is nice. Percentages are nice, but percentages don't help down ticket as much as having a gold state or having someone in the White House. That'd be amazing. But something many of you may not realize, some of you don't. And the VP candidates clearly don't get this. We're not going to get the VP slot. That's not how the Constitution works. If we throw this into the Congress, they pick from one of the 3 top people, which will be Democrat, Republican, and I hope Judge Gray or someone else, maybe Amash, right? It'll be one of those. The VP gets picked from the top 2. That's from the old Constitution. That's not going to be me. I know it makes some of you unhappy. It's not going to be me unless one of them actually declines, right? If whatever, Pence or I don't know, Kamala Harris or whoever else Biden picks, if one of those decline, then I have a shot. But they don't decline. They get it. I don't. I become, I don't know, chief of staff, communications director, whatever. I get that. And I'm okay with that. A lot of people running aren't. They think they're running for president. They're not. You're running for VP. You are running for support staff. I would ask you, do you know anybody in this country in the past 4 years who has supported big L libertarians better than a guy you're looking at right now? There isn't one. If you want support staff, you want the guy you're looking at right now. There's not a better VP candidate out there for that. Not one, doesn't exist. If you don't believe me, okay. I got the data. You have emotion. I'm good. I hope my emotion draws you to me. So to answer your question, Grace, and I went long on it, I know, but some people are asking. I would, but I believe in my heart that Judge Jim Gray is the guy that they will say yes to. If lightning strikes, Congress goes, Judge Jim Gray, former judge, no bad past, doesn't hate Trump, doesn't hate Biden. Yeah, he's in. Done. I think they would do it. Amash, I believe they would, but I'm actually not as sure. I'm more sure with Judge Gray, which is why I think Judge Gray is my guy, even though I love Amash. I'm glad he's in. So anyone who would fit that criteria, Grayson, yes, I would support. My goal is what I just said. If I think that candidate with my support, literally me in their ear, me defending them in the press, me doing whatever's required to make them better at what they're going to say and how they're going to say it, me showing up when they can't show up, I show up in their stead and defend them. And that's what I do well. I'm happy to do that. I would do that so that we can either get in that White House or get a gold state and support this party and support every single down ticket candidate for the next 4 years. And here's the best part. We do well, and they see us on the CNN debate stage, whatever, and they see me on the CNN town hall, whatever they give us, probably town hall or something. Now, I don't know what Amash will do in 4 years. I have no idea. I hope he'll stay with the party. I really do. I believe he will. I feel that from him, and I believe that he will. I know I'll be here. I've already shown that. You know I'm going to be here. I get the VP spot, and people see that I was the VP, and I get that kind of press. Then what happens when I come to your town? And if you're in New York, you know I will come to your town. And when I come to your town, the press shows up, and you're running some local candidacy. Press comes up and comes up for you too. And who gets in the press? You do. Yeah. So anyone who'll do that, Grayson, I'm in. My goal is to support this party and all those down ticket candidates. And when the judge came to me with an actual plan on how to do that, and when I saw that was real and people were behind him saying, yes, they'll do it, I'm in. How can I say no? Who's going to support the president candidate? I thought that 4 years ago. In 2016, I thought that when I ran the first time for VP because I wanted to back Gary Johnson. I wanted to be the guy to support him. That was, for those of you who were there, that was my nomination speech. It was literally, who better to support him? Who better to support him? That was my nomination speech for myself that I get. Is that my nomination speech? That's what I said when I was saying, look, vote for me. That's what I was saying. Who better to support? The VP role is a support role. And if the VP doesn't understand that, they shouldn't be running for this position. This is not the I might be president position. That's not how that works. This is the I'm going to support the president's positions. I have to dodge and make sure stuff is right and be the guy who goes, well, you know, what the judge meant was, what Congressman Amash meant was, what so-and-so meant was, that's what we have to do here. So I know I was long, but I hope that at least answered your question. Thank you. There was no VP debate, John. There was going to be a VP debate, but I didn't want to debate other libertarians. So I insisted it become a forum because I didn't want to sit there and hoop and holler and call people names and get nasty. And then what if I lose this damn thing in a month and I got to be supporting one of these guys? So I literally made it a forum on purpose, John. The VP forum was a way of me chatting with people and talking with them because I don't want to hammer them because either way, 2 months from now or whenever the convention is, we're all on the same team again. And if we're all on the same team again, what I want to be fighting with them? How'd that work for the Democrats? It didn't. Republicans, it didn't. Those debates for all those years tore the Democrats, Republicans apart. I don't want that. So, John, I had a forum and we talked about things. The reality of it is the people who are running for president in our party and for VP in our party, we agree on 85% or more of the stuff that we talk about. It's that much. So we have to try to expand it and make it huge, like it's bigger than it is. It isn't. I prefer the forum. So thank you. Who have been your major intellectual influences since you became libertarian? Intellectual. It's a tough one. I think I came to the Libertarian Party more because of Robert Ringer out of Business. Since here, it's got to be Bastiat. The Law is probably my favorite libertarian book. After that, maybe Orwell. But Orwell, I read Orwell differently now. If that makes any sense. When I first read Orwell, I was a teenager, so I didn't really get it. If that made any sense. I wasn't as I was much more naive when I read Orwell the first time. But I've gone back. I have a teenage daughter, And so we've read Orwell together. So I would think Orwell for my second time, because now I read him very differently than I read him when I was a teenager, sadly, 35 years ago. So I think Orwell and Bastiat, since I became libertarian, Robert Ringer, and even Ayn Rand. Even I'm not an objectivist. I do not claim to be an objectivist, but I think even Ayn Rand prior to being a libertarian. I hope that was clear. Thank you. On the forum, the forum. See, John Keith gets it. It was a VP forum. Thank you. I wanted to be nice. I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be a jerk, because I need these people and they need me. We need each other. So I had to be good. When will King Angela let me get a haircut? I hope by June. I'm lucky I could do the buzz cut, right? And my wife can cut my hair. So I'm lucky. My daughter can too. So I have an in-house barber and clippers. I'm kind of okay. But some people don't have that. It's terrible. Worst president ever. Wow, tough one. There's been a lot of bad ones. Tough one. Can I go modern because it makes it easier? Probably Wilson, because he began the whole. There's no FDR without Wilson. FDR is bad, but I think Wilson's probably worse, because I think there's really no FDR with. I shouldn't say no FDR. FDR can't do what he does without Wilson. So I think Wilson's worse. Is that a good answer? Maybe. So, all right. I think we measure GDP is flawed. And why don't we measure things like purchasing power and savings? RB, you are 100% correct. Yes, GDP is an outdated methodology that means nothing. And by the way, so is the unemployment rate, because of the gig economy, the vast majority of self-employed people, people who are in the crypto economy, people who are over 50, and because of our horrible culture and the way things work, who are now unemployable because of horrible age discrimination, who can't work anymore and just become consultants because there's no other way of making money. None of that's really added into all of those things. And a lot of our production is now by machine. So I agree. There has to be a better way. Maybe purchasing power isn't a bad idea. I like the idea. Savings, but how can you have savings when you have a Fed? A Fed and a broken banking system that says you'd be stupid to save. I would agree in theory. If we were able to end the Fed, savings would probably be a viable way of measuring. But until we end the Fed, I'm not sure that actually works. But I get your point. So, yes, you should give me all of your Trump bucks, unless you need them. If you need your Trump bucks, please keep your Trump bucks and spend them to survive and pay your bills. That's really important. For those of you who are doing well, feel free to send all your Trump bucks to patreon.com/Sharpe Way. Thank you, Pete. I appreciate it. Yes. Do you see a problem with the libertarians take best of GOP and Dems and combine them rhetoric? Isn't libertarians a coherent, self-contained philosophy? Yes, I do. Now, I'd make an exception in one case. If someone was using that as only the intro for a deeper conversation to get someone to just open their ears, maybe. That would be, and that's still a maybe. You rarely hear me say that. I don't do we're physically conservative and socially liberal. I don't ever do that, right? That's not something I do because of what you're saying. It's not really true. There are many libertarians who are hardcore liberals and are hardcore conservatives. The difference is they don't want to use force to enforce their will upon others. They want to use other things like example or their own way, or they want to convince you to be the way they want you to be. So it's not actually accurate. It's not really accurate. So if someone felt they had to use it only as an entryway to get someone to hear the rest, the world's not going to end. But I definitely would never want to hang my hat on that concept. If anything, many of you heard me say it, libertarianism is all about not forcing your way onto others. That really is a core aspect. Some people would say it's self-ownership or property rights or any of those things. The problem with self-ownership and property rights, well, there's a valid argument to that. It doesn't sound good. It sounds selfish, right? It's the way it feels. My rights, I own myself, property rights. That can sound selfish if the right messenger isn't bringing it. Good messengers can use the self-ownership very easily. But if you're not good at that and you haven't done it often, I might go with a don't force yourself on others. Don't tread on anybody. That's a much more positive message for someone who hasn't spent a lot of time putting that message out. So Caleb, I agree with you. There is a problem with it. I think it is. But not everyone's a good messenger. So if you're not a good messenger, sometimes you have to use, I guess, other ways to open up someone's mind to be heard. I hope that answers your question. Can you convince other LP candidates to have a pragmatic 4-year plan towards radicalism? No, and I don't want to. I'm a big proponent of this is the biggest tent party there is. And while I may disagree with people on what they want and the way they want it, I might still, their message is just as valid as mine or anyone else's. And the reason why I say it is people hear this message in different ways, right? Some people, you yelling and screaming, end the Fed. They hear that, they're in. Somebody else, you say it, and they're like, it's stupid. I don't care about the Fed. Someone yells, taxation is theft. And someone goes, yeah, it is. And someone else goes, that's dumb. I don't believe it. So I think that I don't want them to change. I do want the variety in messaging. I really do. I want diversity of thought with unity of purpose. That is how any organization grows and becomes strong and gets to where they want to go. So I don't want to convince them to be more or less pragmatic. They should be who they are. They will draw certain people into the party. And I hope that if we eventually all get on the same page, then we'll all start moving in the right direction. And when I say same page, I don't mean think the same. In my head, on the same page means we all understand we have the same goal. This is where I think our party struggles. And I hear it often. People go, but Larry, how can you possibly want this step? Right? That's a bad step. Yeah, I don't want to stay there. I don't want to stay there. I want to keep moving. But I can't get from A to Z unless I go through B, C, D, E, F, and G in some way, shape, or form. Now there are people who disagree with me, and they will say, no, Larry, that's wrong. We have to make a change right away and blah, blah. And here's what I would say. These are people who go, incrementalism never works. What I would say is the opposite is true. It always works. It is the only thing that works with one exception, and that is violence. I'm not okay with violence. If you want immediate radical change, you can get it. Are you prepared to use violence? I am not. Since I'm not prepared to use violence, it's not going to happen that way. Now, I know people go, no, this happened like that. In business, we have a saying. And the saying is, it took her 10 years to become an overnight success. Yeah, to the outside world, it was overnight. But she was busting her rump for 10 years to get good at what she was doing, to build up, who she was and what she was doing before she became an overnight success. Just nobody saw the 10 years of her hard work. And then all of a sudden, oh, she's an overnight success. No, she's not. She's been working on this for 10 years. For those of you who've watched me since 2016, what have I said? I have a 10-year plan. I've been saying that for right now about 4 years. So I'm 4 years into my 10-year plan. So I'm okay. I'm already being pragmatic, if you want to call it that. I'm already doing my incrementalism already. I've been doing it for 4 years. I'm not done. I got a 10-year plan. I said it. I'm open about it. I did a video in 2016 election day that night. I sent the video up, still on my website if you want to go check it out. I'm sorry, on my Facebook page and YouTube page if you want to check it out from whatever that date was in 2016, November, was it 6th or whatever it was, 8th, whatever that day was. So I don't. Thank you. I can't. I wouldn't even try. I don't want to try. Let's let everybody's message out there. It will draw the right people in. And once we're able to get, hey, we're all on the same page in the right direction, all good. Diversity of thought with unity of purpose is the goal, or should be the goal of every organization. I saw you running for VP. Is it a specific person or just running in general? I think, Edward, I guess you might have missed what I mentioned earlier. Maybe this question is just too old. I'm spending a lot of time on questions. I'm behind. I apologize, guys. I'm running to make impact. I want to help all the down-ticket candidates for the next 4 years. When I ran for governor of New York State, the next year we got 103 victories. I helped a bunch of people get elected the year after. I'm trying to help again this year to get more elected. if I'm able to run for VP and we get impact, the amount of damage we will do to this system in the next 4 years. If you think I have impact now, let me be the VP and let us either win a state or win the White House. Watch what happens. You will be awed. You will say, oh my God, we have released a monster. Oh yes, that's what I'm trying to do. All humans do not suck. You are wrong. So thank you for that anyway, but you were incorrect. Many of them are absolutely amazing. Some humans suck. Most are amazing. So yes, I'm in Tennessee and it's almost life is normal here. Thank you. Restaurants are crowded, parks are filled, and hardly anyone is masked now. Yes, like Sweden. Like Sweden. We're not crazy. We can move forward. It is possible. And we have to be able to. We've got to learn protocols and move forward, and we can. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. So, yes, Grayson, of course. I'm trying. This is the Ask Me Anything. I'm trying my best to answer all these questions. Yes, I've answered this before. I would, assuming that, he had the backing that I hope he would have if he won. But I got to tell you, there's a reason why it's Gray Sharpe 2020. I believe that Judge Jim Gray has the best chance of being selected by the people who, if lightning strikes, I think they will pick him just like that. I believe they want a heartbeat. I think it's the best shot of that. I think right now the LP and most of the libertarians who are in the Libertarian Party, I think most of them support Gray. I could be wrong, but that's my feeling. They're backing him. I like that too. I'm not against him, Mosh. Not against him at all. I'm leaning Gray Sharpe ticket. That's what I want. I hope you guys see the same value that I see in the judge. He's a good, honest man. Been around, been here, been helping out those in California. He's been much more local since 2012, but he's been helping out people, big L people, supporting people, running for Libertarian, supporting my campaign when I ran in 2018. He's been here. He's a real Libertarian, over 20 years. Been a Libertarian longer than me. So I'm all in. I hope I answered your question. Yes, I think the blame game was a song. Yes, absolutely. So with so many presidential nomination candidates left for the LP, is pushing convention to July or later hurtful for the LP because they don't get a candidate? I got to tell you, people think I'm for delaying the convention. I'm not for or against it. It doesn't matter to me. Either way, whether it's May or June or July, whatever's appropriate, do. All I care about is one thing. We have the glory, and some of you be mad at this, I know, but I'm going to be very forward. I support Judge Jim Gray. I think Gray Sharpe is the right ticket. With that in mind, I'm happy to have Amash here. The guy gets press. He did what I asked. BYOP, bring your own press, and man, did he do it. The press is showing up. So I want a place for the press to show up where Amash will be so that we can shine. If that can be done May 22nd, I'm in. May 29th, June, July. I don't care. As long as the press can show up, I'm good. But Larry, here's the answer. But Larry, thank you, Keith. But Larry, if we don't get a nominee, then we can't get press. I just saw Amash get press. He's not even a nominee yet. Why aren't you getting press? Well, am I getting it press? Well, you better work harder. I know it makes you sound bad if you support some of the other guys. You better work harder. Judge just got press. It was local press, but he just got press too. Judge got press. Amash got press. Where's your guy? Where's your gal? Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me because your guy or gal's been running for a year or however long and they can't get press. Not my problem. I know that sounds horrible, but you know why I can say this? Because I ran for governor in 2018. And I busted my ass for a year and a half. And I ran in July of 2017. I didn't get the nomination until April of 2018. And you know what I brought April of 2018? Literally a press reel, an 11-minute video that was just clips of all the press I got. Yeah, I got press without being nominee. I did it. So I can talk trash if I want to talk trash because I already walked the walk. So I can talk trash if I want to. Go get press. Go do it. Don't complain. Go get press. You can't get press? Well, then you can't be president, can you? You don't have a real campaign, do you? I know you hate to hear that, and it makes some of you upset. But you don't have a campaign then. You have a I wish, which is nice. I love the I wish. Please keep your I wish. But don't think your I wish means everyone else has to now collapse because you have an I wish. For those of you who get mad, well, they've been working for a year. Well, then where's your press then? How come you have it down? Now, again, you might be mad at me, but I'm talking the talk because I walk the walk. I live in New York State. For those of you who know this. And in New York State, it does sometimes happen where a celebrity, because we live in New York City, right? I live in New York City, will show up and try to take at the last minute our nomination. It's happened before to us more than once. So I know what it's like for someone to sneak in at the end and take the nomination. And I knew that could happen to me. So what did I do? I set up everything 8 months before so that will be virtually impossible because I knew somebody might sneak in at the end and take the nomination. And I wouldn't have been mad at them. It was my job, knowing I was an underdog, to take my time, to grab all my talent, to bust my rump, to raise 6 figures before I got to the actual nominating day. I'd already raised 6 figures in money. I already had a team built. So yeah, I'll talk trash because I did it. I already walked the walk, so I'll talk the talk. So you're going to get mad and go, doesn't seem fair because they were working hard. Well, they weren't effective, were they? Sorry. If someone jumps in at the last minute like they could have done to me in 2018, that could have happened to me, and it has happened before. I prepared myself so that couldn't happen. You should have too. And if your guy or your gal didn't do that, don't blame me. Blame either your guy, your gal, or their team, or you, or insert thing here. Not my issue. Your issue. You got to bust your rump for this. You think Judge Gray can walk in and take this? He can't. We're busting that rump trying to make that stuff happen too. That's not easy. I'm sure Mosh is busting his rump trying to make stuff happen too. It's not easy. But if you can't do that now, what makes you think because you got 1 extra month, all of a sudden it's going to happen? It's not. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. It wouldn't have mattered if my convention was in April or in May or in June. I was still going to keep going. I was still going to keep pushing either way. But we have COVID now. So whether it's in May or in June, what? So you get an extra month of doing this? This isn't going to win it. This isn't going to win an election. What, are you kidding me? We're not going to be able to get out until June or July anyway. So why do I care? Now, I will be very clear. There may be issues with ballot access. Different issue. If that's an issue, work for ballot access. That's a whole different issue. I don't know details. Please, LNC, COC, whoever's doing this, please deal with the ballot issues. Absolutely, if you can. We'll sue if we have to. I know it'll suck if we have to. But number one issue is we have to get press. Because of COVID, if you can't get press and you can't get people to see you on TV and retweet you 2,000 times and put you on YouTube, on CNN or Fox, you're not going to make impact anyway. So we have to get press. Press is our chance. Whether it's Gray or Amash or whoever you think it might be, I think those two are clearly the front runners in my view. I think one of them is going to get it. That's my opinion. You may disagree. I get it. That's my opinion. One of them is going to get it. And then we have to have press right there to keep moving forward. So I think would it hurt only if there's ballot access issues, Aaron. I went long again. I'm sorry. I go long sometimes. I think only if there's ballot access issues. Other than ballot access, I don't think it hurts at all. Just my view. I know some people disagree. So please run again. Thank you. It's another thing, right? If we're able to make impact here in this race and people know who I am and see me, better chance for me to win in New York if I run again. So yes, thank you. I appreciate that, but it is Gray Sharpe. By the way, Gray Sharpe 2020, if you want to support the campaign, Gray Sharpe 2020. A couple hits will be a huge win. I'm not holding my breath. I agree, Keith. It's tough. You know, absolutely, it's tough. I would love for us to win a couple of states, but it's going to take time. And here's the other advantage: if I'm the VP, I will literally pack up and move to whatever state's required and do whatever's required to make sure we get a state or two. I'm promising you all that. Whatever it takes, we'll get a state. We'll get a state. And the judge has told me he'll do the same thing if required. We'll see what's happening during the last stages of the campaign, see if we have an actual chance of victory or not. And if we do, awesome. That's our goal. Let's grab a couple states. So I'm telling you, we will do everything we can. So would I point Ron Paul at a state? That's funny. You remember, I'm not going to be the VP, so maybe I'll be head of state. See, I'm thinking. Sorry, Ron, love you. I'm in front of the line here. So, are you going to fund for the coronavirus vaccine? Why would I fund? I don't know. You think, so you mean to raise taxes for coronavirus vaccine when a private market could make money for it? I don't know why you'd ask me that question. Obviously, no. So, yeah. Let's see here. The Free Soil Party became the GOP by winning congressional seats at the presidency. I'm with you. Let's win whatever seats we can. If you guys have been paying attention on my Facebook page and my YouTube page, the Larry Sharpe pages, I've literally been interviewing libertarian candidates 3, 4, or 5 a week, trying to let you know this is not just about the presidency. It is, but it's also about everybody else running this year and next year. Right? There are people who come on my show who are running for next year, but they're coming on now to start talking, start building a team. 100%. This is about presidency and down ticket. It isn't one or the other, right? It isn't one or the other. Good. Larry, how do we begin the process of taking away of licensing? Taking away of licensing from government. Businesses wanting to open or operating against emergency orders are getting threatened by police. The government agency, the license is pulled. John, this is my whole point when I was running for governor. If you just go to take away licensing, New York State will not accept it. They will just go nuts and say, we're all going to die. So here's how you do it. You simply say licensing is now credentialing. That's all you do. You say licensing now in New York State is no longer licensing. It's now credentialing. And the difference is there's no teeth. It now becomes voluntary. New York State says if you want to be a or a B, we believe you should have these qualifications, whatever those things are. If you follow those qualifications, we give you a stamp. You are now certified by New York State. If the consumer cares, the consumer only uses your product or goes into your store because you have the New York State certification stamp. But if you don't want to have a New York State certification stamp or you lose it, you can still do your business. You just don't have the stamp. And the consumer decides if they care about your stamp or not. What it also does, it allows other organizations, the private market, to create their own certifications, right? So they can say, well, the government says you should be A, B, and C. We think you should be A, B, and D. And that's a different stamp from us. And again, the consumer decides, does the consumer want the New York State stamp, the private market stamp, or both, or none? What does it do? It forces the New York State stamp to actually either be more valuable or go away, because they're still going to charge for the licensing, for the certification, right? So if you're a business and you think that's valuable, that's the cost of doing business. I will get the New York State certification, get that stamp so that I can do business because the market cares about that. If the market doesn't care, you're not going to pay for it. So the certification by default becomes voluntary and the consumers decide. That is the way you shift. If you just say abolish licensing, I'm telling you, I've talked about it. People go, then my kids will die in the streets. The fear of that is irrational and real. Both irrational and real, and they will stop us from doing anything. So just shift it. Turn it voluntary. Turn it voluntary and break the monopoly. And then the government either gets better or it goes away. Either one is fine. And then the government has to have a stamp that's valuable, or you won't buy it, right? Because you've got to pay to get the stamp, right? If you want it. Either way. All right. Why do we focus so much on running a big figure for president? I'm not sure we do focus on that. Some people do. I think you want to focus on making the most impact, as I've spoken about earlier. Big figure depends upon how you view that. So, Judge Gray has a better chance because of Amash's vote on impeachment. That's one of the things, John, yes, right? Judge Gray doesn't have that past. Amash does, right? So voting on an impeachment, there's a lot of people going to be like, no. And I think some people might do that. So I don't know. Look, I'm not anti-Amash, but people are asking why I'm supporting Gray. I think Gray's got a better shot because he doesn't have that baggage. He doesn't have that background. His background is far more neutral than Amash's, and I think that's my view. So thank you for that. Amash is he does. My worry about that is Amash is that does he have a huge following in the delegate class of the LP? I don't know that answer. right? I don't know that answer. Does he have a huge following? Yes, absolutely. His outside of the LP following is large. People know who he is. He gets press clearly. So again, not anti-Amash at all. Happy he's in. If he wins, fine. Got it. I told you why I want Judge Gray to win. I think he's the right guy. I think he's a better candidate. I think he's the right guy. But you're right. Amash has a huge following. I don't know if he has that huge following within the delegate class of the LP. That I'm unsure. So does Judge Gray have a better chance of winning states than Amash? This I'm unsure also, right? And again, this goes back to what John said. Does Amash's past, is it good or bad? I think polling will have to say. I don't really know. Can he win Michigan? Maybe. I don't know. It depends, I think, who backs him, right? Do we have enough people in those states locally who will back him? For example, will someone like Romney back Judge Gray? Will he back someone like Amash? He might go, why do we want Romney to back us? Because Romney's in Utah, and Utah Republicans don't like Trump, right? Utah Republicans don't like Trump. Utah in 2016, a huge chunk voted for McMullen. Who the hell's that? They voted for him. So we have an actual shot in states like that. New Mexico, Gary Johnson. If Gary Johnson comes out for Judge Gray, right? He got 13%, I think Gary Johnson did in New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's correct. So now add on some more unhappy people. We get 30, 40% in one of those states, we can win a plurality. So I don't actually know. It depends upon which states and who else is backing us, right? Do we get people like do we get local people who were anti-Biden or pro-Bernie? Will pro-Bernie Democrats who are mad at Biden, will they back Amash or will they back Judge Gray? If they'll back either one, better chance of getting those chunks, right? We need enough chunks to get a plurality, 35, 40% of a state to win. So I think it's possible either way. But again, I know you guys who like other candidates, you'll be unhappy. I think for us to really have impact, it's Gray or Amash. I don't see anybody else having that kind of impact. And if lightning strikes, being selected. I know a lot of you guys like Vermin. I get it. And Vermin's great. And Vermin has a huge following. Maybe bigger than Amash. I don't know. Surely bigger than a judge. A large following. My worry is, will his following vote? Statistically, no. Doesn't mean he won't change it. Obama changed that. Bernie changed that. Maybe Vermin can. I don't know that. But statistically, they don't vote. And if lightning strikes, is the Congress going to select President Vermin Supreme? Never going to happen ever. Never. So even if he does win, right? Say Vermin wins the nomination and we actually win a state or two and it does actually happen. In my view, if you go for Vermin, you're saying you just want 5%, which he might be able to deliver. I'm just being forward. Again, I support Judge Jim Gray. I'm just giving Vermin the benefit of the doubt and giving him his due. The guy does draw a lot of people. Statistically, his demographic does not vote. Doesn't mean he can't motivate them. Obama did, Bernie did, and to some extent even Trump did, depending upon which Bernie bros you look at. Even Trump motivated youngsters to vote. So it could be done. Statistically, it doesn't happen. So particularly in a second year, a second term, it usually doesn't happen, but could happen. But if it does happen, he actually wins, he's not getting selected as president. And that's the issue that I have. So for those of you who can be mad at me now, again, it's just my opinion, guys. Just my opinion. So something to consider, regardless of your opinion of him, Amash has gotten more mainstream attention last week than the other candidates have got combined. Agreed. I can't fight you, Keith. You're totally right. Agreed. Yes. Agreed. Nope. Well done, Amash. He brought his own press. If any of Amash people are listening, thank you for bringing your guy in. I appreciate it. I love the fact that he's in, and I mean that with sincerity. I said it months ago. People got mad at me when I said it. Oh, you don't want Amash. I talked about Tulsi Gabbard coming in. I talked about, Schultz coming in back when he was running, and they were all mad at me. Larry, why do you want these guys in? For what you just said, Keith, the amount of media attention these people bring is amazing for us. Amazing. Now it's time for us to jump on board. I've noticed it in my world. I have more people calling me. The judge got 2 local ones just recently also. I have people calling me also for interviews. So Amash came in and I've seen things happen. So I'm very happy he's in. whether you like Amash or not, he is good for our party when it comes to press. That's a guarantee, and the data is in. No way around that. So, yes, Keith, you're correct. Nominate the yellow hat man. Look, to be forward again, is it possible that he might be able to get 5%? Maybe. But is Congress going to pick him? No. They're not picking a guy who lives in Mexico who has a taxation and theft hat. They're not picking that guy. Not going to happen. And I know, sorry, Dan, I love you. And I mean that. And please keep running. You can make impact. But if you're voting for him, you're saying you just want 5%, which is okay to be forward. If that's what you want, you don't have to want what I want, right? I'm giving you my opinion. If you want 5%, Supreme makes sense. Berman makes sense. These guys might get that. That's possible. Could happen. But I'm talking about winning a state. I'm talking about lightning strike. And if lightning's going to strike, it's this year. Look, somebody wins the lottery. Maybe this year it's us, right? It could happen. I'm looking for, when I ran my campaign for governor, I ran to win. Obviously, I lost, but I ran to win. And I was ready. If lightning struck, I literally was building a team out just in case lightning struck and I won. So I could actually take charge and move on. I had a team and I was ready to go. Didn't happen, obviously. But running to win gave me a serious campaign, built out a bunch of people who now know what they're doing from all my failures. They've all learned from this. And we got ballot access for the first time ever. So running to win is the right answer, even if you don't win. And my gut says running to win, only two choices. It's Gray or Amash. I think Gray's number one. So why are the D's and R's so pissed about Amash running? Yeah, because of course they don't know what he's going to do, right? They don't know the impact of Amash. They're unsure. They're like, is he going to mess up Biden? Is he going to mess up Trump? They don't know. They're so angry for several reasons. One, they're unsure. And they know the same thing that I know, which is what I'm telling you. Pete, why they're so angry is because lightning might strike this time. It might. And they know the same thing I know. If we actually win a state or two or three, and a guy like Amash, a guy like Judge Gray, we could win a state. We win a state or two. That change, the duopoly is gone. It's back to 1992 with Ross Perot again. And they got to start actually doing stuff. They don't want that. They like their cushy job where they just punish us 24/7, matches against each other in the Hunger Games, and they keep winning in D.C. all day long. They want that. Our party this year has a chance of breaking that duopoly and cracking it. I talked about this in New York State. I said, I will break a hole in that wall. You guys got to push through. And thank you, New York. You did. You pushed right through. I broke a hole, and you rushed right past me. Thank you. And you went into the breach. We win a state or two, Pete. That cracks the hole. That happens, we will literally have people in state offices and then eventually federal offices within the next 4 years. Guaranteed, because that yellow piece stays there, and that begins to crack it. That's why they're so scared about Amash. They don't know what he's going to do or what impact he's going to have. That's why. He's getting press. And people are actually saying Libertarian Party. They didn't say that before. So, yes, absolutely. Thank you. I think Judge Gray is the best choice. I agree. I think he's the best one. Yes. People only think about winning when second place is usually what? People only think about winning when second place usually gets things going. Not sure I get that one. I don't. Maybe. But again, let's look at second place. Let's imagine. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine that we actually come in second place. Like we beat the Democrat or beat the Republican. Trump or Biden comes in third. I guess it could happen, but I think lottery is us just getting enough so they don't get 270 each. But for us to actually come in second, I don't know maybe aliens have to come too. I guess it could happen. I hope so. I hope it happens. But us getting second would change the entire country overnight. And I mean that literally. I mentioned that when I ran in New York. I said, imagine if a libertarian were to come in second in New York State, in the state that is ranked 50th in freedom by Cato, the least free state in the union. The libertarian comes in second. changes the country overnight. I hope it's true. Shelly, are they pissed or scared? Both. Both. Usually aggression, the root of aggression is fear. So I would say both. I listened to an interview with Judge where he expressed his support for laws that prevent a person from endangering others, specifically DUI. Doesn't that violate the no victim, no crime idea? If not, how can you propose lockdown orders that are for the same purpose? Where would the arbitrary line be? Brian, it's a great question. I think the answer in my view is we have to make things better, right? Now, that may seem like a cop-out to some people. I get it. Excuse me. But if you look at where we're going, we are going full bore into lockdown orders are the norm. The government has a right to destroy your life, has a right to say you can't work, has a right to stop you, has a right to decide who is essential and who isn't, who is valuable and who's not. That's where we are now. If the only thing the judge wants to keep is DUIs, fine. I'll take that. Yeah, fine. DUIs it is. We'll keep it. I'm not going to complain. If that's not far enough for you, I get it. Then once we get power, push even further. I'm okay with that. We are in a point in New York State where not only are DUIs completely fine, as I'm not sort of against DUIs anyway. To tell you, it's not an issue for me. The biggest issue for me is right now in New York State, if you get 2, 3, or 4 DUIs, I forgot how many exactly, you lose your license in perpetuity forever. You may never get your license back ever. And this goes back 20 years. So you got a DUI 20 years ago. You got one more now. So it's 3 years. You lose your license forever. Doesn't matter if you are clean for 5 years. Doesn't matter if you're clean for 10 years. Doesn't matter if you get your life back in order. And there are people who have followed all the procedures, got their lives back in order, been clean for 5, 10 years. You may never drive again. What if you got a family, a job? Well, Larry, leave the state. No, it's in the registry, it's revoked. Other states won't give you one. You have to leave the country. I'm not joking. I know people who have packed up and left the country because they can't get around. You have to either live in Manhattan, we need a car, that's it, live in Manhattan, or leave the country, or drive illegally. So that's a way bigger problem, Brian, than this. So that's how I square that circle. Where's the arbitrary line? Wherever it is now, push it towards freedom. Wherever it is now, push it towards freedom. Wherever it is now, push it towards freedom. What they do at gun control, we should do with freedom. Right? They're always pushing, well, now it's assault weapons. Well, now it's silencers. Well, now it's bump stocks. They keep doing that. Let's do the reverse. Let's keep pushing it the opposite way. Boom, 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 boom. That arbitrary line, wherever it is, push it. As far as I can push it, I'm going to keep pushing it. I hope that answers your question. So, can you speak to being a black libertarian or to what degree you identify with being black? It's funny. Some of you have heard me. I do bring up race here or there. One of the biggest issues I had with Obama is Obama went out of his way to not bring up race. I don't focus on race. Those of you who know me, I don't focus on it. I don't shy away from it either. I just yesterday yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. We talked about reparations yesterday. I brought that up. I was about the idea of a couple, last week I did the Bernie Bros idea of racial justice. I deal with that. I bring up race when it comes up. It does come up. It is a thing. There's no way of getting around it. It's a cultural issue that we've dealt with and we have to still keep dealing with. And we've dealt with poorly, particularly with Black Americans or African-American Americans. I'm a descendant of slaves. Sharpe is my slave name. I'm Black on my father's side. On my mother's side, I'm German. On my mother's side, on my father's side, I'm Black. So Sharpe is my slave name. If that makes any sense. Some of you don't know what that means. If your name is O'Reilly or whatever it might be, or I don't know Schultz, whatever it might be, you can probably push your name back to some country that your family came from. If you were a descendant of slaves, your name is either one you created when you became free. Why so many Black families are named Freeman, or white, because after slavery, many slaves renamed themselves, and they named themselves saying, "I'm now like a white man. I'm free." So they named themselves white, or free man because I'm a freeman. So free man. Many named themselves Lincoln after the president, or Washington after the first president. That was a common thing people did. Not all did, but a lot of freed slaves did that. Others just took the name that they had, right, which was of someone who owned the family that owned them. So that's my slave name. So I do bring it up. This is why Malcolm X, for those you don't know, had an X for his name. He accepted Malcolm as his name because his mother gave him that name. He said, you know what? My mother named me. That is my name. But his name was Little. He was Malcolm Little. He said, Little is just a slave name. It's not really my name. And since I'll never know my name, because when it comes to African Americans, not only were they enslaved, but they were taken apart and not allowed to be African anymore. So their family names are gone and lost to history. You can't find them anymore. So he just said, I'll never know. It is X. So I do bring up race sometimes. I try to not be a black libertarian. I try to be a libertarian because I want everyone to just be libertarians. I don't want people to judge me based upon my race. So I don't spend much time on that, but I do. My father raised me as a young black man in the Bronx. So I understand what that means. But as a teenager, I was out in a heavily white neighborhood in Long Island. So I think I've seen kind of both sides of that. So I don't know if I answered your question, Anthony, or not. I hope I did. I do identify as black. The country considers me black. I see it all the time. African-American businessman, African-American libertarian. I see it all the time. So I know that I'm identified that way, and I'm fine with it. That's what I am, right? If I was Colombian, I'd be the Colombian libertarian. I don't care. It's what I am. So I accept who I am. I accept what I am. And when appropriate, when race is an issue in things like sentencing, in prison, the war on drugs, things of that sort, I bring it up all the time. Absolutely, because that's when race matters. Licensing, I bring that up often. Some of you heard me say that the hair-braiding license is literally just a punishment for black women. And I've said this openly. What does some bureaucrat in Albany know about a black woman's hair? Not a goddamn thing. So I sometimes bring it up, but not that much. I hope that was clear. So Sharpe for president, 2024, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Let's hope we go. You're conservative. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, 100%. I would like that. Okay. Let's see if I can keep going. Larry, do you think Justin Amash should certainly lose his seat in Michigan? If he runs for president, I think yes. Right? I think he will. I think if he runs for president, I think he will. How can you run for both? And people want that seat. So if he runs for president, I think he will. So yes, long answers. I apologize. I'm trying to answer them. Yes. Can Judge Gray gain the media attention that will be necessary to ensure that the overall U.S. voter base knows who he is? I don't know. This is a great question, Keith. And to be forward with you, it's obvious that Amash has a larger press presence. The question that we'll find out is how long will that last? Is he a flash in the pan, or can he sustain it? Now, hopefully, if his team is good, and I hope his team is, I assume his team is good, then he'll be able to sustain it. We on the Gray Sharpe team, we're still building our team out to get all of that cool press. I hope we'll get it soon. If we have a in person in some way, shape, or form, right? Again, I'm a fan of in person plus people come in electronically, whatever, all good. But if we have some way, I can guarantee you, I will get my face in front of a camera. I'm good at that. I will make sure that happens, and I'll make sure the judge puts his face in front of a camera. So I'm hoping. What I think will happen, guys, and most of you probably know this, because we're third party, they're not going to give us debates. Getting debates is probably a fantasy, unless one thing happens, and that is we do very, very well when they give us town halls. They did it in 2016. They're going to do it again. So CNN will say it's a town hall with libertarian candidates, hopefully Judge Jim Gray and Larry Sharpe. And we're going to come out, and if we knock it out of the park, if we do that, and people like it and talk about it, and they get a bunch of hits online, and they can draw the number one thing they care about, ad revenue. If they get lots of ad revenue, then they'll put us on again. If they put us on again, and we knock it out of the park, and people want to see us, that's the only way we're going to get on debate stage. That's it. If we can't knock it out of the park and show them there's ad revenue when we're on stage, we're not going to get in debates. But if we do that, they'll do debates, because if we're the ones who are drawing in eyeballs and we're on the debate stage, right, and Judge Jim Gray's on the debate stage, then of course Trump has to show, because eyeballs will be there. He's got to beat up on Judge Gray, right? Biden's going to be there. He's got to beat up on Biden. So Trump shows. If Trump shows, debates going on. That's it. It's how it works. So us being more popular is really what matters, right? That's the key. If we do that, we'll be more popular. We'll raise more money. We raise more money. We'll run the appropriate ads to get the media attention. The media will give you attention if you run ads on their medium. Most people don't know that. You want to be covered in a newspaper? Buy some ads in the newspaper. You want to be covered on CNN? Buy some ads on CNN. It really is that simple. So if we get that cash, we'll then buy the ads, and then we'll get covered. So I hope that answers your question. Excuse me. Sorry. If you have 3 specific things you wanted to give to either a Democrat or Republican as hooks, let's just say for looking at the libertarian position on serious platform issues, what would they be? Okay. Yes, absolutely. If you're looking for Democrats, you want to talk about fairness. Most people who are left-leaning care tremendously about fairness. It's a big deal for them. They really care. So you want to say, look, as libertarians, we want things to be fair. We want to end the war on drugs, right? It's not fair to people of color. It's not fair to the poor. Civil asset forfeiture beats up poor communities. Democrats eat that up. They agree. In fact, if you look at Bernie Sanders' criminal justice plan, it's very similar to libertarian justice plans. So that's number one, fairness, war on drugs, right? You do that, and all of a sudden Democrats go, okay. Not just that. Talk to them about having actual good quality health care for everybody. Not talking about healthcare insurance, but good quality health care for everybody. Allowing people who are poorer to have similar health care to people who are wealthy. You will find Democrats go, oh, I like that. That's good. Yeah. Not just that. Talk about allowing poor communities to grow on their own, supporting nonprofits and community-based nonprofits to get people who are in poor and immigrant communities to rise up through entrepreneurship and ownership. Those 3 things Democrats always hear because that's what they care about. Fairness is a big deal for them. Republicans care about what they think is right, what's correct, what's right. It's a big thing when it comes to Republicans, right? This is right, it's correct. So what do? I have an idea. Let's make things right and correct. Let's allow you to have your own property. Let's allow you to keep lower taxes so you can do what you want with your kids, how you want to do them, right? Your kids are important to you. So guess what? You get to raise them any way you want. How about that? You can have the education that you want for your kids the way you want them. How about that? How about you can grow your community any way you want to grow your community? How about that? You start doing that, Republicans are going to hear you. How about making taxes fairer so that everybody pays the same? Oh, how about getting rid of taxes? How about getting rid of an entire type of tax? You find Republicans start saying yes. And of course, the biggest thing, Second Amendment. Republicans care about Republicans voters care about Second Amendment. The Republican Party does not care at all about Second Amendment. However, the voters do. So Second Amendment, huge. Hope that was helpful. All right. Larry, I get it. You agreed to roll with Gray, but pretending he's got even a 1% chance of getting Amash support in the general election is comical. How many national networks was he on within 3 days of announcing his candidacy? Only Amash has a prayer of a gold state. Well, look, you may be right. I think we'll find out. There's no way I can fight that, right? Amash, without question, has shown that he has the ability to gain press right now. Is that going to continue? If so, you're right. I got it. You're right. I can't fight you on this, Jeff. It's clear. And again, I'm happy that happened. So happy that the Libertarian Party got the press that Amash brought. I said it before, bring your own press, and Amash did it. Well done, Amash. Again, happy you did it. Absolutely. So I wouldn't say comical. And the reason why I say it is I don't know how long the press is going to decide that Amash is valuable. I don't know how long they decide that we're valuable. The question is, can we build a team that will do well enough that we can retain it? But more than anything, Jeff, and this is the thing that many people aren't noticing. I'll say it again because it really matters. You might have heard it before. CNN and or Fox and or MSNBC, one of them, probably CNN, is going to give us a town hall. And if we do boring, we're finished. That's the game. Boring, we're finished. Well, he answered good questions. Nobody gives a shit. Be very forward. Nobody's going to care. Has Trump ever answered a good question? Biden can't even put a sentence together. Neither of them do anything that makes any goddamn sense. Yet they're the top. They're top of the game. Neither one of them that makes any sense. Who cares? Well, you got to be exciting and interesting. If our team can't be that, we're finished. Let me say that one more time. We're finished. So I get it. He's got a lot now, and he may get more. Keep it. I hope so. But when we get that town hall, I cannot stress it. When we get that town hall, I can't stress enough. We have to knock it out of the park. Interesting, smart, savvy, funny, quips. It's got to work. Interesting. You guys saw me do this when I got on Joe Rogan. You guys saw me do this when I got my press. I was interesting. People kept playing it. I got a New York Now that went viral. Happened, well, viral locally, if that makes any sense. It was New York Now, so it's not like it went across the world. But locally, it went viral. People heard about it. People started calling us, right? Because I was interesting, savvy, quick. We do that, we can keep the press. If not, it's going away. It is going away. If we get on, whatever, MSNBC or Morning Joe, if we're like boring, no one remembers. No one cares. You've got to be able to get back on again and again and again and be interesting and stuff to go viral. We do that, we rock and roll. So at least I hope I answer your question. But you're right. You're right. All right, Larry, if you get the VP nomination, you promise to take a beer. Keith, I don't drink. I am the squarest guy you're going to know except for Mormons. Mormons have me beat because they don't use caffeine. I do. So, yeah, I use caffeine. I said I don't drink. I don't smoke. Don't do weed. None of that stuff. Do you do weed or do you smoke weed? Whatever you do now. I don't even know. See how square I am? I don't even know. My point is if you want to do it, go do it. Not my business, your business. Enjoy your life as you find happiness in your life. But I don't know. I mean, maybe as a publicity stunt, I might take a beer, I guess. But maybe I'll take a Corona. Maybe. Yes. Let's see. Dems are committed to political suicide with Biden. You'd be better off running as POTUS yourself against Trump. Thank you, my friend. Not going to happen. We got some good people. Excuse me. I appreciate that. But I think the thing we don't know, Joe, we don't know. We don't know what coronavirus, what COVID's going to do. We don't know. That's my issue. We just don't know. Yes. We could have hit 5% in 2016 with Sharpe on a ticket. At least it wouldn't give us another chance now. Yes, John. See? Listen to what John is saying. I'm back. Don't diss me now. I'm back. I've said, look, in 2016, if I'd been the VP nominee in 2016, we would have done better. I don't know how we've done. We've done better. Why? Because I would have been in Garrett Johnson's ear. I'd have been in the press more. We'd have been much more exciting, much more fun. We would have done better. That's all I know. What we've done, who knows? I hope 5%. It's 4 years later. I've been doing this now. I've been in this game now for 4 more years. If you thought I was good then, just the odds of me doing this for 4 more years, you've got to believe I'm better now. And I was a second place guy then by 32 votes against Bill Weld, a governor of Massachusetts. If you guys haven't figured out that I'm the right choice of VP, I don't know what you're thinking. Unless you weren't here in 2016. I get that. If you weren't here in 2016, I get it. If you were here in 2016, I don't know what the hell you're thinking. If you're thinking I'm not the guy for VP. I don't know where. I don't know. I guess you weren't paying attention then. But again, if you weren't here, obviously you weren't here. If you're in New York, how can you not be supporting me? Me running for VP will basically ensure New York State gets ballot access. It basically ensures it. I don't know why New York State people wouldn't vote for me for the VP. I mean, delegates. I have no idea why. Makes zero sense. No one has supported New York State more than I have. No one supported emotionally, financially raising money for them, getting ballot access for them. No one supported New York State candidates better than I have. That person does not exist on this planet who's done it better than me. I don't know why you would even imagine voting for somebody else for VP. If you vote for someone else for VP, you're literally saying, that guy's never come back to New York, whatever. Or you can vote for Larry for VP if you're in New York, right? Obviously, if you're not in New York, you may not care. I got it. But if you live in New York State, we're going to get ballot access for sure this year if this happens. You're going to be able to keep running libertarian candidates. If for somebody else, you could be putting a knife in our party in New York State. I don't know why you want to do that. But I'm sure somebody will. They'll come up with some excuse. But this silly emotional thing, I'll vote against you, Larry, because people always do. I always tell you, if you run for anything in the Libertarian Party, remember, you will be backstabbed. It's just how it works. You'll be stabbed with a knife by people who you think would never stab you. It is going to happen. I get it. New Yorkers are going to be like, well, here's my excuse for not supporting the guy who got us ballot access, who will come back and ensure we get it again, who will make sure that if I need in trouble that I can call him and he'll help me out. I'll screw that guy over. Anyway, I'm sure it'll happen. All right. What are your thoughts on Hornberger as president? They are never going to vote. He's not making president. If he's the nominee, will I support him? Of course I will. No way the Congress votes in a guy who's going to destroy Social Security. Most of the people who vote are on Social Security. You think those guys in the Congress are going to put in a Hornberger who wants to destroy Social Security on day one? Fantasy. Not that Hornberger isn't right. I'm going to be clear. I am not. He's right. Social Security is a disaster. He is correct. I want to be clear on that. It's not whether he's right or wrong. There is no question he is correct. What I'm saying is we have to assume that these people are going to decide to vote against their best interest and to vote to destroy their own power. Never going to happen in a million years. Could he get 5%? Maybe. Again, if you're voting for someone other, this is my view. Ask my opinion. I'm giving you my thoughts. If you're okay with getting 5%, you can vote Hornberger, Vermin. It's fine. If you actually want to have a shot at winning a state, again, you're not going to win a state with Hornberger. No state. The people who vote are on Social Security, and he wants to destroy it. You're not getting 5%. I'm sorry, you're not winning a state. You're not getting 35, 40% per state. Not going to happen with him. But again, if you want 5%, if that's your goal, viable, makes sense, go ahead. If you want a shot at winning a state, if you want a shot at us getting the presidency, Hornberger's a no-go. That's my view. I hope I answered your question. But no, I get it. Depends what you're looking for. I don't think he's going to – impossible for him to get voted in president. Impossible. If Libertarian were to get the nomination for president, who do you think would be the best and most qualified to fill the spot for Attorney General and Secretary of State? Well, Secretary of State, I know a guy named Larry Sharpe who would love that position. Just saying. But I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of people for Attorney General. I think the president would have to decide. Again, Judge Jim Gray has been a judge. He will probably know many judges, know their records, know who they are, know many lawyers and attorneys, know their records. And I think there's no one who would be better. Remember something. Judge Jim Gray was a active judge. He was an actual judge, and he did a press conference in 1992 to tell everybody how bad the war on drugs was. 1992, not 2002, not 2012, 1992. As a judge, he put his job in jeopardy to say, what are we doing? The war on drugs is a complete failure. It's horrible. It's not working, guys. Stop. I think that guy will pick a good attorney general. I'm okay with that. So, more class ideas in last night's VP forum than all the party debates combined. I know. I wanted that forum to be good. I really did. I really wanted it to happen. So, yes. You like Orwell? Yes. 100%. And yes, it is 84. Yeah, but well done. Yes. And that's saying, Craig, I read it now very differently than I used to. Yes. Oh, so you agree, Woodrow Wilson? Yes, yep. Everyone's going Wilson. They're in. Yep, everyone's going Wilson. I think it is Wilson. I think he's the one. Yes. All right. What is your stance on how well or not so well Cuomo's balancing the health of New York's people and the damage to our local economy? There is no balance. He has done what we always do. Zero tolerance policies. Zero tolerance policies are always worse. There is zero exception to that. Zero tolerance policies are always worse. And what you can see clearly, South Korea, Sweden, two countries, not as big as America, obviously, right? Not as big, but South Korea has a massive city. Seoul is a massive city. Stockholm is not anywhere near. It's not like New York. It's big. It's not like New York City, right? But there's a lot of people in Stockholm. It's not as cramped, right? It's not as cramped, but still big city. Seoul's a huge city and cramped, just like New York City. And somehow they did it without having to use force, without having to use a lockdown, right? It was voluntary lockdown, and people are doing it in both countries. It's working fine. Their economies are not collapsing. They're suffering. Absolutely. Ours is collapsing. The amount of damage that we've done to our state, and worse for New York City. New York City is never going to completely recover from this ever. A lot of people are saying this, but it will never, are saying it's going to come back. They're full of it. They don't know what they're talking about. It's not going to happen. New York City is basically a communist state. I'm not joking. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that. It really is. If you live here, you know, it is basically a communist state. But how can a communist state work? You're libertarians. It can't work. Here's why. It's the biggest city in the country. It has 16 million people in the metro area. It's a mecca for talent, finance, and customers. That's why the best talent in the world comes here. That's going to go away. It was already happening. New York City was actually losing population as of last year. Why? People are doing these remotely. You don't have to be there anymore. It's not required. Second piece to this, which people don't realize, finance was the biggest lobby and the biggest the biggest amount tax base when it came to New York State. Finance from New York City. No more. Now it's real estate. Big difference. Why? Because in the past, and back when Cuomo, the ignorant man that he is, he thinks, well, they got to come to us for finance. It used to be that tech followed finance. That's how it worked in the past. 20 years ago, it was very common. Not anymore. Now finance follows tech. Wherever tech goes, finance goes. Since 10 years ago, every major bank's got a major branch in San Francisco, Silicon Valley. It's all going there into other cities and other countries. It's leaving us. Ireland now, believe it or not, it's going to Ireland. Every place except Dubai. It's going every place except New York. It is leaving New York because New York's a communist state. And now they can leave. So as that begins to happen, New York, they'll never come back. Why in the world would you be able to do your job from your home for 3, 4, 5, or 6 months because Cuomo is so backward, and then you're going to jump back on the subway? No, you're not. I'm not. I used to go to the city 3, 4 times a week. I'd go to Manhattan. I live in Queens. I've been in a subway 3, 4 times a week. Not doing that anymore. Why the hell would I? I can do this. Why the hell would I? I'll go in once in a while to do some training. But some of the training I'm doing now is now being done online. The schools I teach at now, that I'm teaching online now. Why would I go in again? No reason. If people stop going to New York City, all that commerce goes away from New York City. Not required anymore. Zoom makes all the money, and the MTA doesn't. It is a disaster. Joe, Cuomo has been so bad, but I'm not mad at him anymore. We've elected him 3 times. He's shown us what a piece of garbage he is as a human being, and we're like, come on in. Thank you, sir. May I have another? We just keep doing it. It's our fault now. It's not his. He's shown us who he is. So I'm not even mad at him anymore. Just like, yep, that's the guy we got. And we keep voting for him. And I gave you people an option in 2018. And you went, no, you can't win. Let's vote for this guy who keeps bending us over for years. New York State has lost 1 million people in the last 10 years. 1 million have left New York State. You doing something wrong? Not if you're Cuomo. No responsibility for anything. It's the weather. I don't know what it is. As he destroys the gig economy, destroys small business. I was in D.C. months ago. I was emceeing a blockchain event, and people were talking, not from New York, talking about the business flight from New York, business leaving New York, the attrition. Other people talking about it. So no, he's a disaster. He's an embarrassment, and he is an embarrassment. You know what the embarrassment is? The New Yorkers who still love him. The New Yorkers who literally have Stockholm syndrome. The New Yorkers who 80%, by the way, 80% of New Yorkers approve of what he's doing. 80% of New Yorkers have said, thank you, my leader, for destroying my life and crushing those around me and ensuring that we'll never recover and putting us another, I'm not joking, $10 billion deficit, another $100 billion in debt. Thank you, my dear leader. You are amazing. That's what we're doing. I'm not even mad at it. They are literally taking down, in New York City, taking down basketball hoops so you can't play basketball in the park. And we're like, thank you, sir. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, that's what we are. So, Joe, it's embarrassingly bad what he's doing, but we are the embarrassment more than he is. All right. You've already asked, what do you think is the best way to do the convention? A general rule, as I mentioned, what convention is, we should do some form of where people show up. I don't care if everyone shows up and no one shows up. I mean, I care if people show up. I don't care who shows up, but some form of someone showing up so press can be there. I want Amash to be there. I want us to be there. Press is there so they can go on CNN, so we can go on Fox, so we can go on MSNBC, something. And those who either are afraid or who can't afford to or whatever, if you're delegate, call in, Skype in, Zoom in, whatever the case may be. You can let every delegation send at least one rep, maybe 50 reps show up. You know, a volunteer, whoever feels they can go, has either the money or the health to go. Everyone else could go electronically, whatever. I want some people in some kind of room where press can show up. If that happens, I'm good. Sooner the better. But if it's later, I'm not crying about it being later. But as long as somebody can show up and press can be there, I'm good. So yes, audit the Fed, of course. All right. What advice do you give to newcomers who are just introduce themselves, libertarian ideas and solutions? All right. This is what I would do. If you are new to libertarianism, ideas and solutions in the party, here's my advice to you. Be patient. Our party is filled with assholes. Just is. We've had 40 years of failure, 40 years of loss. A lot of our best talent has left us. We've been losing elections and winning arguments for 40 years, so we keep arguing because we're good at it. We are all about backstabbing. We stab each other all the time. We eat our own constantly. And it's because we have a bad culture of scarcity and not of abundance. I have to win so you can lose. Our culture is bad. We're making it better, and I'm doing my best to spearhead making us have a better culture of helping each other. We have a culture of people running for office, losing, getting mad, blaming everybody, and running away. I'm never coming back. So my advice would be, please be patient. Understand that we have a culture that we're repairing. Literally, as we speak, we're repairing that culture. And the culture is getting better. The solution is dilution. And the solution is multiplying, not dividing. The solution is adding, not subtracting. And we're on our way. The second thing I would say is, remember something. Because we are so open to so many people, and the only common denominator is no force, that means we'll have very liberal and very conservative and very moderate people all in the same party. It means we're going to argue because people are liberal, conservative, in the middle, pragmatic, whatever you want to call it. They're everything. So we're going to argue. But our argument should always end with either you're a jerk or you're not libertarian, whatever, but not with there ought to be a law. That's the difference. It should not end with force. That's what makes us special. That's what makes us better. Literally, it's what makes us better. The glory of our movement is it's not actually about liberty or freedom, because a lot of people don't want to be free. What it's actually about is people being happy to the best of their ability. And all government can do is allow you to be free to pursue happiness to the best of your ability, whatever's happening in your life. If you understand that basic concept of what we are, then you'll be okay with it. You'll put up with it. I do. I put up with crap all the time. People dump on me all the time, lie about me all the time, get mad at me all the time, come up with terrible stuff that makes no sense all the time, constantly. Other day, I called a socialist. What an asshole. Anyway, happens all the time. All the time. But I get it. We're building something that's better because at the end of the day, here is the harshest part. At the end of the day, the liberty movement, not just the party, not only the party is part of the movement, but the liberty movement is the only answer to save our nation. And you might go, Larry, that's hyperbole. No, that's reality. Think about this. Is the country getting more divided? Yeah. Who's going to bring us together? Biden's going to bring us together? No. Trump's going to bring us together? No. But we can. We bring us together. We're the only movement that can do that. The only movement that can save our nation is this movement. Nothing else is out there. I've been the first person to say this. I've said it on record. The Libertarian Party, it's a dumpster fire on wheels. But without it, I'm walking. So I stay on top of it and keep trying to put the fires out. That's all I do. And I want you to have patience and understand we are the only answer. Understand we are getting better. Understand there is no other answer. 2020, at the end of this year, Trump wins or Trump loses. If we don't win, if we don't get the presidency, half of our country is going to believe that our president is illegitimate. The Democrats, if Trump wins, is going to be like, the Russians did it. If Biden wins, the Republicans will be like, the Ukrainians did it, or whatever, right? They're going to say that. And now we have even more division and more people who are ready to fight, more people ready to just give up. We have to be that home for them, and we can. So our movement is the most important movement in this country right now. Not even close. That's why I'm putting my life on hold again. That's why I'm putting my life on hold again to do this for the next 6 months. That's why I'm doing it, Chris. So I hope that was helpful, but it's why I care. It's why I'm doing it. So how does libertarian decouple from communist China for goods? I don't think we force it. I think we just tell the truth to the American people, label things openly, and let the consumer decide, right? The issue is, if we're going to decouple from China, we have to make some decisions at the actual store, right? And I bring this up often. In New York State, as an example, we've done this already, right? In one way. New Yorkers, as a general rule, because we have a very thriving craft beer industry, will pay an extra $1 or $2 to get a locally made beer. It's very common in New York State. I don't know if it's common in your state or not, but in my state, it's very common. People do it. Oh, yeah, I'll drop an extra $1 or $2, get a locally made beer. Common. Will we do that when it comes to crayons at Walmart? Instead of paying 25 cents for the box of crayons, will we pay 50? If we'll pay 50 cents, that's how we decouple, by being honest and open and allowing the consumer to decide. I think that's our answer. All right. Debate should go by total registered voters, so would have a Republican, Democrat, Independent, and yes, a Libertarian. I think that'd be awesome, but they're not gonna. You're acting as if debates matter. Debates have anything to do with that. They don't. Debates are all about ad revenue, and that's it. What frustrates you most about the libertarian community? I just answered that question, so thank you. The best current series on Netflix to watch. I think I have to say Waco, so I'm going to say Waco, Tom. Done. Yes, I think I have to say Waco. So, all right, let's see if I can grab a couple more here. I'm trying to get all the questions. I know you guys give me a lot. I'm doing my best to go through them as fast as I can. All right, libertarians need to understand that presidential elections can only happen with compromise. I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure. I think you find the right person. Do you consider that compromise? See, I look at it not as compromise. I look at it as collaboration. I'm not trying to put the other guys out of business. Their messages are valuable. All of the people running, their messages are valuable. Their people are valuable. Their activists are valuable. Their potential voters are valuable. I want them all, right? So I don't know if it's compromise. I want to get us all facing the right direction. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the diversity of thought with unity of purpose. So I'm not sure. I feel more like it's not compromise, but collaboration. And we accept giving up things to all get a common goal. So they're a little bit different. So, yes, Dan is smart. I agree. All right. Cato or Mises, which is a better libertarian organization. I'm kind of biased. I'm on the advisory board of Mises, so I got to say Mises, right? No, actually, I do like Mises, but I like Cato too. They're all good, as I mentioned. I want all of them. I think all of them have their value. I feel like the Libertarian Party needs some more press because we can't rely on the mainstream media. Yes, I agree. And this is why I want us to have a physical, at least some partial physical convention for that. We need to get more press. And, yes, I think we want more celebrities to show up, right? And to be forward, I think somebody like Judge Jim Gray, because of his ties to Gary Johnson and his 10 years in the party, I think has a better chance of getting some people who are celebrities to show up. Gary Johnson got a couple to show up, right? And I think Judge Gray may be able to help out with that too. I don't know if Amash can. I hope Amash can. That'd be great. If he wins, I hope he can get them, because I do think celebrities matter, particularly as we begin to move forward. I have a couple of celebrity connections, not a bunch, So once we have the nominee, I'll switch on those too, and hopefully we can grab some of those. All right. They also need to remember that elections can be won with 22% of the vote. Yes, Jody. Yes, I agree. As I'm saying, we get 30% of the vote, we can win a state. That's a lot. I get it. But if we focus on a couple of states, we got a shot that we could. Like I think we definitely can. All right, the Kardashians are complaining that they're not in the spotlight. Yeah, this is funny. I need to call some Kardashians maybe. I like that. Call some Kardashians. Sharp lightning. Look at that. Is that good? Should be a hashtag. Guys, hashtag that. Is that the right thing to do? Hashtag? Yes. Hashtag it. Of course, if we can. Sharp lightning. I love that idea. Yes. Congress wouldn't select a libertarian candidate, period. The greater politicians will give the power. Even if we win the VP candidate, better be ready to step up and swear in. The corrupt establishment will give up without a fight. This is a point. But imagine if you would, right? Let's say again, sharp lightning hits. Thank you so much for that. Sharp lightning hits, and now our nominee has a chance, right? It goes to Congress. Are any Democrats going to actually vote for Trump? I can't see them doing that, right? They've spent 4 or 5 years calling him Satan. How can I go, well, he's Satan, but I'll vote for him. I can't see them squaring that circle. And even if they did, just by saying I'm corrupt and that's it, right? If they just do that, their constituents, they've been telling Democrats that Trump is Satan for the past 4 years. They don't lose their spot. They're gone. And Republicans, the reverse, been saying, oh, Biden is evil. He's a rapist. He's horrible. Same thing. So how do they vote for the other guy? I think it's tough. So then it might. If it felt safe, and I think, again, Amash might be safe too. I don't want to say they could do it. I'm not saying that. In my view is Gray's the safest. He, in my view, is a guarantee. So, all right. Small steps, the only way. I like that idea. Is Gray using social media advertising? I've yet to see anything. We're working on it, Sonia. He announced faster than we were ready for. So some of you may have noticed I just changed over my stuff to VP today. So I'm just changing my stuff over. We're behind, Sonia, so I apologize. You've noticed, of course, because Sonia is a savvy social media marketer herself. So she knew that. So, yes, you've called me out. We're working on it. So, yes. Revamp Fitness and Herkimer told New York Tyrants to piss off. They're reopening next week. Thank you, Revamp Fitness. Some of you may have noticed Gold's Gym is now applying for bankruptcy. Gold's Gym. It's crazy. So Revamp Fitness, I'm on your side, brother. Open up. Do your thing. Get out there. Make some money and survive, because your business is essential. Why? Because you provide a service to people in your local area who've decided that they need you, and your business puts food on your table and pays your bills. And that, my friend, is essential. I don't care what some bureaucrat says. I don't care what some governor says. That's essential. So, I believe with the animosity people have here in Pennsylvania towards both mainstream parties, the Libertarian Party could win. Just my personal opinion. I hope you're right. Right? I hope you are right, because, Pennsylvania is a swing state, and a lot of people don't vote. So if the Democrat and Republican are close, Libertarian can pull some of each and then add those who don't vote. That could be 34 or 35%. Could be a win. Could be a win. So what do you think of Candace Owens? She is sharp and fearless and tends to be more Libertarian than Republican. I don't really know her very well before with you. I don't know her well at all. From what I've seen, I'd be happy to have a chat with her. She's pro 2A. She seems, from most of I've seen her, she seemed very aggressive, which for some people will turn off because people happen to like the woman fuzziness. I don't think she has the woman fuzzy piece. I don't know. I'm happy. You know what? I should probably ask her to come on my show. Let's do it. I love it. Regarding media access, take what you can get. Yes, I am absolutely yes, 100%. Hey, Larry, even if in the event the judges get the nomination, who do you see as a candidate that can make impact? It is a repeated question, but look, it is my opinion that, and people will disagree with me, I know, it is my opinion that it's going to be Gray or Amash, one of those two. Again, I keep saying it. I know you guys, some of you don't like it. I think Judge Gray's the better choice. I do, but Amash is fine. Amash is fine. Great choice. And again, I've given you my reasons why. I think those two can both make impact. I think they're the ones who can make impact. The rest, again, if 5% of the vote is what you believe is enough for impact, I think Vermin can do that. He probably can get 5%. He's popular. People know him. He can get press. The odds are Vermin could probably get 5%. I don't think Vermin can win a state, and I don't think that he'll get selected as president if Sharpe Lightning hits. That's my issue with Vermin. But I do think he can get 5%. I think it's possible. If that's your victory, then it can be done. I think they can make impact. My victory, though, is winning a state, and my victory is getting the presidency. I think the only two people who can do that, it's only two. Judge Jim Gray, number one. Amash, number two. That's my view. Hope I answered your question. Does Vermin's reign damage credibility to LP? With some, he will. There's no doubt. With some, he will. And some, he'll grow. The question is, do you believe what we lose with him, do we gain more or not? If you don't believe that, then you shouldn't vote Vermin Supreme. If you do believe that, then it's viable, in my view, if you think 5% is impact. I don't think 5% is enough for impact. That's why I'm not in the Vermin's train. I don't think it's enough. That's my view. I don't think it's enough. Getting the dollars for the future is nice, but I think we have to go further. I really want to help down ticket candidates, and I think getting a state and or actually getting into the White House is the only answer, and that's the answer. So hope that was clear. You don't need debates. You need to get on podcasts like Joe Rogan. Yes, Paul, and we will. We will. Let me tell you that. We will. 100%. I want to wait till a little bit later, I hope, in the game to when we have we're closer to election day, and also when we have a nominee. Excuse me. And I hope you get us on separately. Me and whoever our nominee is. Both. Two separate ones. Of course we will. And every other podcast we can get on. Everyone. We'll get on Dave Rubin. We'll get back on all of them. You name them, we're going to get on them. I'm already starting it. The requests have already come in. So as soon as we get a nominee, they will all stop piling up. Absolutely, of course. Yes. Running an LP ticket with a Middle Eastern American and African American would look great for us publicly. It would change their perception. The left sees it as just Republican light. I agree. I think that would be an amazing thing, Joe. I can't. How can I say no to that? Yes. Still love Jim Gray. Sorry, I love Jim Gray. But yes, you are correct. I agree with you. Yes. How would you accept Nicholas Sarwark's job as LNC chair? Should we get a new chair? We're getting a new chair. Nicholas has said he's not running. Nick is not running. So we are getting a new chair. So why would I want to comment on the chair now? If he was running again, I would comment. And in 2018, I did comment. He's not running again. I have no comment. Doesn't really matter, does it? In a couple of months, we'll have a new chair. So either way, good. All right. Let's see. I've already covered that. If Amash gets the LP nom and you get the VP nom, how well do you think work with him? I know how I'll work with him. I know. All right. There's no think. I know. I'm amazing support staff. Larry, you're a jerk. Well, maybe, but I'm good at support staff. That's what I do. Literally, for my day job, I do a lot of executive coaching. I literally spend a lot of time with powerful people and help them move through their life. It's what I do for a living. I do it all the time. I've done it before. I've supported many people in the past. You've seen me out in the press supporting libertarian candidates, being what Gary Johnson meant to say was. So, yeah, and I don't have a problem being number two. Look, when I ran for governor in 2018 in New York State, one of the reasons why so many people followed me was because they saw me be that guy in 2014 for Michael McDermott, right? Michael McDermott ran for governor in 2014 in New York State, and I supported him, and I went on my way to help him whenever I could. Absolutely. So when I ran, people helped me, right? They saw me support Gary Johnson, right? Gary Johnson would be like, go here and raise money for me, and I would go, or go here and be here in my stead. And I actually debated in his stead. I debated in Gary Johnson's stead in Manhattan. A local group did a debate, and they wanted Gary Johnson to show. I couldn't, so I showed. Hillary Clinton sent one of her campaign. Sent a local politician who was on her campaign, like a senator or something. And the Green Party sent literally their national coordinator came up, and me. The Republican Party didn't show up. So of course I would do as required, right? He's going to go off and be doing his stuff. I'm the VP. I'm support staff. When he says, Larry, I need you to show up on this, I'll show up on that. That's what I would do with anybody. It's what I do with Judge Gray. It's what I'll do with him. It's what I do with Gary Johnson. It's what I'll do with Michael McDermott. Doesn't matter, right? You need me. That's why I'm running for this position. It is support staff. I get what I'm doing. We have to make impact because this could affect all of our candidates in a positive way for the next 4 years across the entire country. So I'll be fine. All good. Have you considered debating with the Green Party and the Constitution Party candidates? Yes, and my answer is hell no. Hell no. No. That's the kids' table. I don't play that game. That's the kids' table. We don't play with the kids. That's kids' table. So I have considered it and no. Look, if the judge overrules me, we'll show up when we do it. If Amash overrules, we'll show up and do it. But the judge tells me that we're going there. We're going there. But my view is no way. But if judge gets the nomination and judge tells me that's not my view, that is no longer my view then. So yes, that's my opinion. So I hope that was good. Yes. Are you addressing YouTube questions? Yes, I am. That's one of them. Yes. Love you, Larry. Larry for Prez. Thank you. Maybe 2024. That may be true. Not this time. Do you think some of the more radical candidates care more about their status than the future of the party? Most candidates do, to be forward with you. Remember something. If you're going to run for a big office like president, most people are doing it for their own status. Do you think all these people think they're going to win? Do have some fooled themselves into thinking they're going to win? Sure. Of course. Some have, but most haven't. Most know. Half of these runs are vanity runs. At least half are vanity runs. Right? I'm going to show people how smart I am or whatever. I see it all the time. I see it in New York State. I tell people all the time, stop running. You're wasting our energy. You're wasting our donors. You're wasting our resources. Stop running. Carl, I think I told you that, right? I tell people all the time, stop running. Why are you doing this? And they still run. Why? Because I'm the smartest. No, you're not. You're not. But I can't stop you, so run. And I still support you anyway because you're libertarian, so fine, I'll support you. But no, at least there's 12, 14 people running. At least half of them are vanity runs. At least half, if not more. So yes, I think many of them do. Don't get me wrong. Some believe that they're putting out a message that matters. Some do. That's valuable. That's valuable. So some are doing that because they want to make sure that the party doesn't go too far, mainstream or pragmatic. Good. Please keep doing that. But half or at least vanity runs. Hope I answered your question. The press will use Amash as long as they think he will keep hurting the bad orange man. If they think for a second hurt the deeds, the press is gone. This is a valid point, William. I think you're right, William. It's a valid point. Mainstream media is also Fox, though, right? People try to say Fox isn't mainstream because there's only one Fox when there's multiple others. But Fox is a powerhouse media, right? In many cases, depending on the day, Fox will often have more viewers than all the others combined, making Fox also mainstream media. So I think you'll see a difference in how they cover Amash, right? If they think Amash will have no impact, they'll stop covering him. If they think Amash is going to have impact either way, the opposite one will cover him more, right? I think you're right. If they believe that Amash will affect Trump, I think the more liberal side media will cover him more than the more conservative side of the media. I think that's true. That it's their impact. So yes, thank you, Joe Rogan. I still get recognized in the street, believe it or not. Not anymore because I can't go out hardly ever. But when I used to go out in the street and go into the city almost in Manhattan almost every other day, very often I'd be in a subway, somebody would, hey, Larry, Joe Rogan. Yeah, all the time. Or the one I get often is regulate like onions. Get that all the time. At least once a week. So one time I got recognized twice in one day. So it does happen sometimes I get recognized twice, but usually about once a week or so, someone will just yell, Joe Rogan, do a selfie. And actually people in my neighborhood actually know me also from Joe Rogan. So thank you. Yes. I do think Gary, I think you mean Gray, would probably be more exciting in a town hall. Amash be too conservative. Gray would have more of a fire in his ass, I think. I agree with you, right? Look, I love Amash. I do. I think he's great. I hope he stays in our party forever. I hope he stays forever. I would love to have him in. I'm glad he's in. If any of your people listening, Amash, please stay forever. I love you. Please stay forever. Not the most exciting interview. Being forward, love you. Being forward, not the most exciting. I think Mitchell's got a point here. The judge does have more fire, and I'm trying to make it better. If some of you are watching, he's getting better. I'm in his ear. And if Amash wins, I'll get in his ear. If Amash wins, I'll be in his ear. A little nudge, making him better too. Absolutely. I tend to have a bit of emotion when I speak. I tend to be animated when I speak. Oh, you're surprised. Yes. So I do think we want to make sure we have more of that. So Mitchell, it's a valid point. What do you think about pony soldier dog-faced liars? You know, they're all Americans, Maria. They're all Americans. Even the pony soldier dog-faced ones. They're still Americans. I love them all. I hope they vote for us. So if you don't get the VP nomination, and I hope you do, we'll be running for New York governor next year. I've been very full about this, right? Do I want to run for governor in 2022? Of course I do. The reality of it is, will I be able to have the financial situation and the family situation to do so? If I think that everything is in line for me, I absolutely consider it. If not, I'd have to support whoever could. So I would hope to. I want to. I have to see what happens in 2021, because if I were to do it, I'd have to start literally next year. Yes, I'd have to start next year. So I'd be done with this race, and then 9 months later, have to announce for governor. So you're asking a lot of me, Brandon. I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. I'm saying if things are looking good, then I will. If they're not, then I won't. So yes. Having said that, I think I still lean towards Amash. Look, I get it. I get it. People like Amash. I got it. People like Amash. But I think Gray's a better choice. I get it. Chug a pot of coffee. I like that one. Okay, good. All right. So I know I'm chugging 12 beers. I like that. Okay. You're straight as a Mormon, but you do cuss a bit, though. It's true. I do. Giddens, you got me. I am still I'm still a Marine. So I still have a little bit of potty mouth. I'm better, though. I am better. That's for sure. I'm better. So, yes. All right. I think I would be good in the town hall. That's what I'm trying to do. Yes. Good. All right. Let me keep going. What kind of gotcha questions is the press going to ask you? They always do. Yeah, but the more you get in, you have to realize something. The more you do press, and for those of you don't know, I ran my campaign for a year and a half. I did at least 30 events every single month, at least 30 every single month. I did all of them live, and I did all of them with no notes. I did all my press live, no notes. Why? I wanted to be as amazing as I could possibly get live in front of a hostile audience for that reason, Carl, so that I never get caught with a gotcha question. So I never have that moment that I look back and go, God damn it. I want to never have that moment. And I practiced for a year and a half, which is why now I'm good at it. Right now I'm good at it because I've been doing it for so long. Right? That really is the issue, right? That's the issue. The question they're going to ask is things like, how can we live in a world without taxes? They'll ask the question that no one really believes. They'll put me in the same world as whatever is the harshest thing they believe. They'll ask questions like, why do you want to kill babies? Stuff like that. So in that case, you just have to not answer that question, which I do all the time. So I kind of dodge that a little bit. I guess is how I deal with it. I'll dodge them. So why did you choose VP instead of president? I'll tell you why. Because for the same reason why I did in 2016. People ask, why are you running for president in 2016? Because I thought I could have the most impact as support. At the time in 2016, Gary Johnson was already running, far bigger press, more press than I'd have, far bigger impact than I could make, far more known, more experienced, just a better candidate than me in 2016. Not even close. McAfee was running, far more popular. Even Austin Peterson had a bigger machine than I had and more and a better social media presence. All of them, they were just better candidates. So I said, you know what? I would be better supporting those people than I would be in being the front person. This isn't a vanity run for me, right? I already had, this isn't the Larry Sharpe show. There is a Larry Sharpe show, which you're watching. That's the Larry Sharpe show. This is not that. This is something else. This is me trying to create the most benefit I can for the movement. I think me in support is a better way of doing it. To be fair with you, could others have gotten me? Maybe. Some asked, but they were like, we could do great. The judge came to me. One, I'm loyal to the judge. He was the first person I voted for. Him and Gary Johnson were my first Libertarian vote in 2012. I've always loved him. I've always respected him. He's a great man. Honest. And those of you know him know he is. He cares. He's a compassionate man. He is an honest man. He's a loyal man. Of course, I'd want to help him. Of course, I would. And I saw, many may not know this, after he asked me, within like an hour, I got like 7 phone calls. Larry, you got to do this. Larry, we're behind you. Larry, everybody was all of a sudden behind me. That okay. So maybe this is going to be a good, powerful thing. But more importantly, the judge came to me with a plan. He came to me with a plan. He goes, here's how we make impact. Here's how we fix this thing. Here's how we do it. And I said, you know what? I want to do that. I want to make impact. And the judge gave me impact. And I said, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. So I hope that answers your question. I want you to answer a question you've been asking other candidates about. How will you bring the different caucuses, factions together for nomination? I think I already have. And that's by not dissing any other caucus. That's the answer. Sadly, many of the fights in the presidential nomination have, without question, hammered each other. One of the reasons why I had a forum and not debate is I refuse to be in a debate because I don't want to do that, Kevin. I don't want to. I actually respect all the caucuses and factions. I do. I respect them all. I want them all. I hope they see that I respect them all. I have them on my show. I talk with them. I openly try to converse with them. I want them all together. I don't diss them ever. I hope I've already done that, right? And the reason why I wouldn't do a debate for the VP, I would only do a forum, is because I didn't want to look like I was dissing anybody. I didn't want him to think, I'm better than my faction's better than your faction. I'm not saying that. We're all valuable and important. I think Judge Jim Gray gives us the best chance for impact. That's why I support him. Not that he's better than anybody else. I think others can do some stuff too. I think he's the best chance for it. That's it. So hope that answered. Larry, you fit well with the four candidates very well. Thank you. I hope so. Excellent. Yes, damn ballot matters correctly. Absolutely. A big deal. All right. Would the selected nominee for the Libertarian Party give all the candidates positions in their administration to solidify the votes? Your thoughts. Would the selected nominee for the Libertarian Party give all the candidates positions in administration to solidify the votes? Your thoughts. Probably not. Probably not. And I think the reason is the Libertarian Party tends to be against that kind of cronyism type thing. I think they'd only pick the people if they thought they were the right people, not for the idea of solidifying votes. It tends to be against our culture. So, I mean, I'm not saying somebody wouldn't do it, but I think as a general rule, our culture tends to not do that, right? I think it tends to not to. So probably not is what I would assume. So, all right. Where am I? The goal is to be effective, not right. Can't have both. I disagree. I think you can have both. You just don't get as much as one or the other. I think that's it. Yes, I think that's it. Yes. Judge Napolitano for SCOTUS? Maybe. I think it's possible. I'm not against it. Of course, I won't be picking that. The judge will. So one judge to another. Maybe that's the piece that we're going to talk about. So I'm curious how you'll convince minority voters. I see this as the most crucial voting block. I agree completely. And to be forward with you, I failed miserably running for governor to do so. I did not do a good job of that. And one of the reasons was because left-wing media wouldn't talk to me. Minority media wouldn't talk to me. We reached out to them. And at one point, I kind of gave up at a point, realizing, well, they don't care. So I started to pick up more of the right-wing and more non-minority media. And then that reinforced their view that I didn't care about minority media, and it was a horrible circle. In the end, I tried to turn it around and fix it. And I think I was better at the end, but nowhere near good enough. I think the way I do it, man, is I talk to people about race when it's required. I reach out to minority voters to the best of my ability. I show them that I care about how the Black community how the Hispanic communities, how immigrant communities can grow, and I give them an actual plan for them to grow. When I talk to these communities, they tend to like me a lot. I have to spend more time doing that. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I think if I do it enough, I can then get into their social media to where now they hear me. And that's what I have to do. I've got to be able to get them to hear me, because when they hear me, they realize, oh, this guy grew up in the 70s in the ghetto. He does know us. I do. Right? If you see my social media in the first couple of years of my campaign, there were some horrible racial things said. I felt the sting as anyone else has. My mom was a victim of the drug war. So I get this. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. It's a valid point. I have to work harder on it. I was not successful in 2018 doing it. But the advantage is my failure in 2018 at least did make me realize my shortcoming. I've been working on it, and I'm better at it. And I recognize it is important. So yes, I love how the differences being talked about between many candidates this year aren't on principle, really just strategy, where the party should have been in 2016. Agreed, Tom. Bingo. 100% agreed. You are right on the right there. Have you considered attending any Restart New York protest? No, I haven't really. I don't think that's the right place for me to be. So I haven't done it. It's not my thing. So I haven't really done it. I might, if there's some in New York City, maybe. But most haven't been in New York City. So I haven't. Maybe locally I might. But yeah. So South Korea uses a cell phone app to track people's every movement. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if we had that type of app available for people to voluntarily use, they would have done it. How do I know that? Because they have Alexa in their house, because they have Fitbits, because we track ourselves all the time. I think the vast majority of Americans would have actually done it voluntarily. We could have had the app, not mandated it, and they would have done it on their own, happily, voluntarily. How do I know that? 70% of Americans to this day still think that the lockdown was a good idea and that we should keep doing it and we should stay in our homes. So I think absolutely they would still do it. Yep, they would have done it easily, right? I think they would have done it on their own. I think that the tracking app's a good idea as long as it's not mandated. As long as you do it because you're worried, you're concerned, you want to be part of the solution, you do it. And I think the vast majority of people would have done it. Matt would have done it, but they would have done it on their own. So yes. Amash announced his exploratory group and the press went crazy. Then he formally switched to the Libertarian Party, and again the press went nuts. Is this the kind of impact you're discussing? Yes, absolutely. The question is, can we keep it? And I hope we can. And also, it's happened to me too, right? Some of you may not realize this, but the people who are more popular in the movement who've been in the press in the past, we still have those connections. I'm one of them. I'm not the only one. There are others who have those kind of connections. The judge does too. Most of his are more local because he spent his last 8 years heavily locally in California. Mine are heavily New York, Albany, and also across the country because my team was across the entire country. So those people now have been reaching out to us again. So as I've said before, I'll keep saying it. I'm very happy Amash is in this race. I'm glad he's part of our party. Please stay. Don't stop. Please stay. Because as it happens, people are now reaching out to me now. I'm getting those inquiries from mainstream media, podcasts, blogs, everything. And it's starting to come in for me and the judge and others. So we're all benefiting from Amash's press. Happy he's here. Again, I say it again. Glad he's here. You're absolutely right, Nathan. It has worked. It's been good. I'm hoping we can all benefit from it. That's my hope. While it's slippery slope, but would you give up that data to fix this faster? Cell companies and probably the NSA have already done it. You're saying, would I give up my own or would I order it as an executive? I'll give you both. Would I give my own? I probably would. Voluntarily, I probably would. Would I order it? No, I would not order it. Of course not. And if I was a cell phone company, would I give it? Only if I told the people that I was going to do it. If I tell you in advance, if you want my cell phone plan and you want my cool thing to follow you around so you don't get, less chance of getting the virus, I'm going to give this to the government, and you say yes, I would. I don't have a problem giving the government stuff as long as it's voluntary. As long as, Robert, you know you're giving it up, all good. I don't have a problem with it. As long as it's voluntary and you know it and you're good with it, fine. No worries at all. Look, I know Facebook is selling my data when I use Facebook, but I like Facebook. I'm using it now. It's fine. I'm not fooling myself. I know what I'm giving up. I accept it. No worries. As long as it's voluntary, I'm totally okay with them giving it up. No worries. I probably would if it was mine. I don't know if I would actually do it, but if I did it, I'd probably give the data up. I probably would. I hope I answered your question. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that. Do you think the economic disaster and the authoritarian tendencies of government will eventually turn the U.S. into essentially a third world country? We are on our way to doing that. My biggest worry, guys, to be forward with you in the next 6 months is war. It's war because as all of our money gets downgraded, which it will have to be because our debt's going to be so high, the only thing backing the U.S. currency is the U.S. military. So if we're not bombing people, invading people, people aren't afraid of us, they may stop using our money. That's a problem for us because we got a Fed. So we're not going to end the Fed now. I wish we would, but we're not. It's a fact of life. We're not going to. We may wind up having a proxy war with Russia in Libya, or a proxy war with China in sub-Saharan Africa, or a proxy war with some other country so that, we can be a proxy war with Iran, right? I don't know where we'd have it. Maybe in Iran. Who knows? Whatever. But it might be a proxy war then. But we might have a war someplace because that's how empires keep the population from realizing they're becoming a third world country. It's 1984. I said Orwell, right? Craig, thank you so much for that. Yes, 1984. Perpetual war. Perpetual war is how you keep your populace believing that everything's fine and that you validate your third world country status because you're always being attacked by the evil, bad people, whoever those people are. So I think we are on our way, which is why I did a little bit of a preaching about an hour ago, talking about how the Liberty Movement is the only answer. Paul, the only way we stop this is by having a liberty movement that people get, by allowing us to find freedom and happiness the way we want to find it. If we do that, we avoid this. That's how we do it. So, Larry Sharpe was talking about the fact that in the case the election goes 3 ways, less chance of him getting selected by the legislature than great. Yes, I think that is true. I do believe that. Yes. Loved your opening statement last night. The support guy. Yes. Yes. Thank you for running a fundraiser for my campaign. Yes, Pete. See, this is what I'm talking about. Thank you, Pete. I appreciate that. Yes, this is what I do. I am a support guy. I'm out there trying to help others. This is what I'm talking about. We've got to help each other. Our culture in this movement has to get better. And that's be a culture of support. A culture of support. That's a critical piece. All right. But the press didn't go crazy over Gray. Agreed. We have to do better. Agreed. We have to do better. That's on us. I'm not blaming anybody. You are right, Nathan. That's on us. We are working on that now. The team didn't take off like it should have. Guilty as charged. It is on its way to taking off. We'll be working on that. You will see us getting more press coming up here. It will happen. Amash was automatic press. The second he announced, he had that. He's got a bigger presence than we have. Guilty as charged, 100%. So we are working on it. Yes, absolutely. Let's see if I can figure this one out. I have seen comments from several self-identified Democrats who say they prefer Cuomo to Biden. This is true. And I'm not actually convinced that somehow Biden doesn't get sick coming up here and all of a sudden they got to fill it with Cuomo. That might happen. I'm not against that. That actually might still happen. Absolutely. Yes. You're an awesome dude, Larry. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying my best to make that happen. Absolutely. Thank you. Supporter, I appreciate that. Yes. I was called a socialist. What an asshole. Larry Sharpe. I said that. Yes. That's correct. I did say that. Absolutely. And yes, it is dumpster fire. Also true. Yes. All right. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're putting all the, yes. What am I going to do? Right. People ask me all the time, Larry, why don't you run all the time? Why don't you run for this, run for that? And I've told you the same thing. I've tried to be clear on this. I only want to run when I can make impact. And here's the reason why. When this kicks off, I'm going to start asking you all for time, for money, for your experience, for your energy, And if I'm going to draw that out of you, if I'm going to ask you for your time, your money, your experience, and your energy, I better give you something that's worth it, right? Otherwise, I'm just taking your money. I'm not okay with that. I'm a business guy. If I'm giving you something of value, then pay me. I'm giving you value. You want the value, pay for it. That's the market. I'm good with that. No worries. In my business world, I want people to pay me when I give them value. I see politics the same way. If I'm not providing some impact for our movement, why should I be asking you for money? Because I have a vanity product? A vanity project so I can feel good about myself? That's the reason? Not good enough. I didn't just run for Congress so I can lose and take your money and time and make no impact. No, I ran for governor and I made impact. We got 103 victories the next year. We got ballot access for hundreds of libertarians. We raised tons of money, and I asked many of you for time, money, and energy, and you gave it to me. Thank you, and I hope I gave you in return value. That you go, you know what, Larry, I'm in. I'm glad I gave you money. You gave me value. I'm going to ask you for it coming up here soon again. Why? Because I'm going to give you value. I'm going to give you impact. I want you in November of 2020, when you guys have given me your time, your money, your energy, your experience, you've shared online, you've told your friends, you came out that day and voted, you did all those things. At the end of that, I don't want you back to Bernie Bros, who all feel cheated. All those other guys who spent all that time money on Kamala Harris or whatever, and they all feel cheated. They basically just stole all their money. I don't want you to feel that way. I want you to go, that guy delivered. That guy delivered. He said he'd do it. I gave him $100 over the course of this campaign. I showed up at his events. I shared all this garbage that I didn't want to share. I clicked like on every single one of his posts. I did all that stuff for him. And damn it, that guy delivered. That guy delivered. So yes, Paul, I put my life on hold because if I don't do that, I can't deliver. You can't be a part-time statewide candidate. You cannot be a part-time national candidate. Anyone who goes, I can't, really run because I have a job. Then don't run. You're not doing me a favor. You're not doing me a favor. Then don't run for a statewide office. Don't run for president if you got a job. Don't do it. You're not doing me a favor. Put your life on hold or don't run. Either is fine. I got to put my life on hold. I'm going to ask you for a bunch. I'm going to put my own time, money. I can't sit here and say, you need to do all these things and sacrifice if I'm not going to sacrifice. You hear me say this all the time. I point my finger a lot, but I always point the finger at myself first. Before I pointed at you, I pointed at me first. Once I pointed at me, then I pointed at you. So when I talk trash about running for office, I ran. I pointed at me first. Then I talk trash about others. Me first. So to answer your question, Paul, I can't put if I'm going to ask you to sacrifice, and I'm going to ask you to do stuff for me. I'm asking you to give me money. I'm asking you to do all. I'm going to ask you for all of it. I can't ask you to sacrifice if I won't. I can't do it. Maybe it's the marine in me. I don't know what it is. I can't do it. So yes, I'll put my life on hold. So yeah, I know some people are running for a Green Party. Doesn't matter. Not concerned. So yes. All right. People who don't run don't realize it can destroy your private life. And it has. Many people who run, I've actually told them they probably shouldn't run. They don't listen to me. And it tears your life apart. It hurt my marriage. It did, which is why I didn't run again. I had to kind of rebuild my relationship with my wife, with my kids. Absolutely. I was gone a lot. I would leave on a Wednesday and not come back to my house for 6 days as I was crossing the entire state. And some of you are with me in that car. Thank you for those who drove, who picked me up, who stayed in hotels with me. Thank you so much for all those people who did those things. Yes, absolutely. I would leave and not come back for 6 days. You can't have a job and do that. It's statewide. 18 million people. That's how it works. If I wasn't prepared to do that, then I shouldn't have done it. It's kind of that simple. Yes, Amash has lots of money. He does. Gray does not have that much. He's not that much. But hopefully we'll rock and roll and hopefully make it a whole lot better is my hope if we can do that. All right, guys. We did 2 hours, a long time. I know I do a lot. I want to say thank you so much. I hope I answered a bunch of your questions. As always, I'm trying to be as accessible as I can be. Please, guys, if you would, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Like, comment, and share this everywhere. And as you hear me say every time, like it on Facebook. It matters. The Sharpe Way, not Larry Sharpe. The Sharpe Way. Go like that. Like it now if you haven't. Go to YouTube. Subscribe now. Right now if you haven't. Go subscribe. And, of course, over Twitter. Like it right now. It matters. If we don't grow our media, we're never going to be able to compete with the rest of the media. We have to grow our media. This is one of them. Go do it. And if you're in a position to where you're not worried about your job, you're good, then please head over to patreon.com/SharpeWay and throw me a couple bucks per month. You can go as low as $5 if you can. If you can go 10, 20, 100, if you got that kind of cash, if you're super wealthy, throw me $500 a month because you got all the cash and you know what I'm going to be doing with it. So please do whatever you can to support this show and to support our movement. I really appreciate it. Guys, I will talk to you tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, talking about last week tonight. Have a great night.